Fighting out of the blue corner, ladies and gentlemen, here is the current English welterweight champion, Ekow, the Engine Essuman.
What kind of kept you going along that journey?
My biggest why is my family and just wanting to support them, wanting to build something of myself and make them proud. To be honest, if you go through life and everything is easy, then it's not really worth it all. So it's just another challenge thrown in my way, and I do what I do, adapt and come back even hella more stronger for it. And I've learned, I'm one person that I don't like to learn the same mistakes. So something I learned once and that's it.
Still the British Commonwealth welterweight champion, Ekow, the Engine Essuman.
Well, Ekow, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. So, you know, I know who you are, Ekow, but for anyone that don't know, who is Ekow Essuman?
Ekow Essuman, I'm also known as the Engine. I'm a professional boxer. I've had 20 fights now. 20 fights, one loss, or one little skid mark in the road. I've switched lanes now, so just continue, move forward.
7 knockouts?
7 knockouts. I am the former English champion, former British champion, former IBF European, former
Incredible.
Commonwealth champion, and former WBC Silver International champion at welterweight.
That is absolutely amazing. That is like incredible achievements. And you're only 34 as well.
Only 34.
Still a young man. So Ekow, what I'm really interested in is where it all started from you and how you got to achieving all of these great results. So, like, where did it begin?
Oh, wow. My fitness journey began where I was born, Botswana, Southern Africa. I was quite a chubby child, and I wanted to get rid of that excess baggage and just feel good in my body. Fitness journey started off playing rugby, as you would.
Yeah.
And I was big for my age. Like when I was 8, I probably weighed nearly as much as I do when I fight now.
Yeah,
So,
you'd never think that you was a quite big, like.
yeah, I was a unit. But I mean, it doesn't matter.
No, that's it. Yeah, I know. Most of us grow out of it. I'm still trying to grow out.
I grew into it.
Yeah.
So I started off typical sports like rugby. I played a bit of cricket. I swam for my swimming team back in Botswana, and then I came over to the UK with my dad as he was doing like a doctorate in education. And so I started my secondary school in here. And during that phase, I got into football and basketball. I got really good at basketball, well, good by my standards. I ended up playing to pre-England level, so England team level, for the selections and whatnot. And one year I wanted to get into the best team in Nottingham. It's like they play at the Jesse Boots Arena and the Wild. I think it's the Wildcats. And they I went to the trials and I got told I wasn't fit enough and I wasn't ambidextrous enough.
You wasn't fit enough considering all of the sports and activities that you used to.
Well, yeah. So at that time, I took it on the chin. It's just is what it is. I thought, okay, you know what? I'm gonna have a break from what I'm doing with basketball now. I'm gonna spend a year out working on my being able to dribble on both hands and all the things I was told I needed to work on, and get my fitness and just come back hella fit. Like go to the mountain, do what I need to do, come back and just be a beast and get on the team and whatnot, because that's what I wanted to do. And one of my mates at the time, I think it was Craig Montgomery. He had been in the army, and he had told me, look, nothing's going to get you fitter than boxing, so you need to get to a boxing gym. And there happened to be a gym right literally on my doorstep. My backyard was like just sharing that with a park. And on that park, there was this boxing gym. So I went to that boxing gym, Bilborough Boxing Gym, walked into it first day with my 2 left feet in boxing terms, and couldn't throw a right hand. Yeah, I couldn't crack an egg, basically. And
how old were you when you got into boxing?
how old was I? Well, I started learning to box when I was about 17.
17.
Yeah, so quite late compared to
the
all my
other
peers. Yeah, yeah. So I've walked into this boxing gym, and yeah, I couldn't crack an egg. I was rubbish at it, but I soon picked it up. And of course, my fitness levels just rose and rose and rose from that. And the irony of it all is I grew up with asthma as well.
Oh,
So,
wow. Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Grew up with asthma, but I learned a lot about my body, myself, how to overcome that. And obviously now I'm a professional boxer. Nicknamed the Engine because of my relentlessness and my fitness.
So out of all the sports that you did do, would you say that that boxing was the one that transformed your life when it came to being an athlete?
Yeah, definitely. Boxing has transformed my life in so many ways. One thing my coach, Barrington Brown, told me, my professional coach, Barrington Brown, told me before I became a pro, he told me, as a pro boxer, you're going to learn a lot about yourself, because everything that you're going to go through, you're going to learn little bits about yourself, your body, how your mind works, everything, because there's going to be points of time where you're close to breaking and you're going to have to find motivation or energy from the depths of your mindset to get you out of it or to help you or and whatnot. And I think that's testament to the game, because I think throughout my boxing career, I've learned so much about myself through the challenges thrown at me at boxing and in life, and sort of crossing between the two. And there's been many times where stuff I've learned in boxing, I've applied it to what I do in life, and it just works. And there's stuff where in life you learn, think outside the box, or learn how to switch lanes and do different things differently. Like I've read The Art of War, and certain aspects of that you can apply to how you approach boxing, or the training, or your tactics, or how you think your mental game is for a match.
Give me an example, because it's quite funny you mentioned that. A good friend of mine who was also a professional boxer said how he read the same book, and I don't know if it's a thing that's related to boxing or if it's. But The Art of War, what is that specifically?
Just little aspects of that, because I'm a very cerebral boxer.
Are you?
Yeah, very cerebral boxer. Just little things like one of the rules, like if you know yourself in and out, and you know your enemy, you should never lose any battle.
It's interesting,
because if you know your enemies, like the habits, what they do best, what they do worst, how they think about things, and you know yourself, and you actually really know yourself, because not a lot of people know themselves deep down to their shadow self, then you should have the capacity to work out how to win any battle facing that enemy.
And you think that's been a big part of the success in your career so far?
Yeah, I would say so, because I think one of the best things about myself is my ability to adapt.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, change is really important, whether it's in life or in the ring, to be fair. It's probably more important in the ring, because it don't last forever. So so your ability to change and see your opponent, who you're fighting against, and understanding what's kind of going on. Yeah,
understand what's going on and just make those little changes that need to be made during the match. That will obviously decide the outcome of it.
So you obviously had... You started at about 17. How old were you when you had your first fight?
My first amateur fight was after I was 18, because at the time my parents didn't really want me to box, so I had to wait till it wasn't their decision.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a funny story, because I started boxing at 18. I hadn't told my parents yet, and I was winning all these matches, getting all these like medals and trophies. putting them behind my wardrobe. Like,
Really?
and then one day my mum was like, "Where are all these coming from?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, just winning these little competitions, and yeah, nothing serious. But yeah, soon became serious."
Did it? And so what, you had your first amateur about 18, 19, were you?
Yeah.
And then when was your first professional?
My first professional match was when I was 24.
24.
Because like I'd been in the amateurs, I'd gotten to the peak of it. I hadn't won the best amateur tournament in the UK that you could win. It's called the ABAs.
Okay.
And it's basically to win that tournament, you are the best in England or in Great Britain. And I got into the finals of them, and I just bowed out, like coming second place, and second place is just the first loser. So yeah, that was quite disappointing. However, I still managed to get onto Team GB. So you win those tournaments, and then normally you get a trial on Team GB. And my trial process, I was one of 40 boxers at the time, and we were just told, "You're coming on a GB trial. We need you here from, say, Thursday to Sunday. You're going to get weighed in every day. Make sure you're on weight. You're going to have road work or running to do. There's going to be sparring. There's going to be gym work." Literally got there first week, there's like 40 of us. And it was just literally like something out of Contender. Every week, people were getting kicked off the squads, kicked off the trials, should I say, not the squads, the trials, either from not being on weight or not pushing their weight on the runs. Or
when you said everyone was getting weighed, I thought you meant like everyone was getting like beaten up all the time, but they literally everyone.
Well, everyone was getting weighed in the mornings on the scales, but then everyone was getting weighed
in as well. So literally, they would weigh you every single day.
Yeah, make sure that you can actually maintain your weight. Make sure whichever weight you was planning to box at, you could actually make healthily and whatnot, and show that you can diet. It showed the people that lived the lifestyle and the people that kind of didn't.
It separates the men from the mice sort of thing. Yeah.
I was on that for 6 months until it was just me and another lad, and I got the nod. So yeah,
incredible.
And then straight into it, trial by fire, straight into the tournament.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, like breather or break.
Oh no, but I mean, it's the best thing for you in terms of an amateur boxer boxing for your country. I'd advise most people just take it all in, take in the experience and use that for when you want to turn over as a pro, or if you just want to be amateur, just take the experience in and just become the best that you can be.
I don't doubt your parents were very proud of you at that point as well. You know, it goes from they didn't want you to do any boxing at all to look at my son, like
well, yeah, to a certain degree. I mean, I kind of didn't do them any favors by not telling them to start off with, but then when I did tell them, it was like, look, I'm into boxing, I'm really good at it, and this is the proof. So obviously Team GB have asked me to box for them. Can you come to one of the open days? And then obviously, my dad, full of pride. And yeah, well, my mum, full of pride too, but she can never really watch my matches. She has to watch them through, like, you know, watch them fingers. Yeah.
So what was the experience like? Like once you qualified and you got to play for GB, what was that all about?
I always say to people, you don't play boxing. It's one sport you don't play. But being able to box for GB, it was amazing. I got to travel around the world. I boxed in Cuba, Russia, Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Morocco, Mexico, so many, and China even, so many different places. I've got to learn about different cultures, experience them, and box their people. And yeah, it's been a great experience being on Team GB. better experience as a pro there.
Was it?
Yeah.
In what sense?
In the sense that on Team GB, you don't realize how good you have it. With boxing being a business, everything was sorted out for you. It's just like you get told you box on this tournament, we'll fly you out, accommodation, everything's set. As a professional, you really become the captain of your own ship. You have to make a lot of decisions for yourself, and for the better of yourself. And with that, obviously, comes a lot of responsibility, but you also feel like a lot of accomplishment from it as well. Yeah.
So what was so after GB, you just went straight into pro fighting and kind of standing on your own 2 feet. Is that what happened next for you?
Yeah, you know what it is. On GB, I wanted to go to the 2016 Olympics. I was on that cycle. So I started in 2012, and I just missed out on the qualifying spot to Josh Kelly. And after that, well, I'm not going to stay on the Olympic squads for another 4 years. It's a long time to stay on. I want to push on as a pro. So literally, as soon as I found out I couldn't go on to the qualifiers for the Olympics, I was just like, well, I'm out. It's pro time.
Yeah, wow, fair.
Started from grassroots with my now and still trainer, Barrington Brown. He was a professional boxer that I happened to meet through my amateur coach, Ray Ricketts. And I sparred him once, and he literally just leathered me. And I was just eating leather the whole time. And then after that, I was just like, I need to learn how he did that. And I told him, look, show me what you do, like teach me. And he literally started, it somewhat took me under his wing, started bringing me to training with him, mentoring me. And then he became my professional trainer as well. And I think the thing that made it was one day he just turned around to me and said, I'm not a trainer yet, but if you let me be your trainer, I'll turn you into a champion. And I was just like, you know what, I need someone that has that much faith in themselves and faith in me. So I'll go with them. And yeah.
And that's the rest is history.
That was that, yeah.
So, you know, boxing to me is a very tough sport. You know, it's very physical, it's combative. What kind of kept you going along that journey the whole way? Because it's, you know, I know you don't get paid a lot of money as well. That's another problem for people, because obviously we all have responsibilities outside of boxing. But yeah, what kind of kept you on that path?
What kept me on the path of boxing? Boxing is like physical chess. Except for it's very physical chess. And so for boxers, obviously, it's the pride of wanting to be the best. Like, you really want to be the best in your game. And so that pushes you to the late nights training or early mornings, the dieting, the road work, the sparring, the everything of it. But I mean, my biggest why is my family, and just wanting to support them, wanting to build something of myself and make them proud. And yeah, in boxing, you don't start off on a lot of boxing. I always say to people that start in boxing, don't think of your first 10 fights as big payout fights kind of thing. It's time to just keep your head down and learn from your experiences, build your fan base up, and then start thinking about making the most out of it. However, since the Misfits era of boxing has started, YouTubers going into boxing, it kind of showed us boxers that actually, if you just work on your following,
status,
your status, even before boxing, you can make a lot of money from the start. So they flip that on its head. and yeah, it's true. So it's something to learn from.
So how do you find, it's a good topic to talk about, but how did you find seeing that social media side, like the social media influencers, compared to your career of going through like the hard grind of it all, like working restlessly? Because, for a lot of people who have to really earn it, I can imagine there's a frustration there.
Oh yeah, initially I just
What
hated.
is this?
I was just like, what is this?
Yeah.
How dare they?
Yeah, that's right.
Like you just think he's having his first match, he's getting paid this much. He wouldn't last like a round in the ring with me or whatnot. But then when I actually thought about it, just like I said, it was kind of just a
eye-opening.
Yeah, eye opener for us boxers. Like we're prize fighters. Fight for a prize. You got to make sure you set up everything so that prize is a good prize, and that's initially what they've done.
Yeah,
like they've just showed that, like I said, you build your following. As long as you have a big following of people that are willing to
see you either get beaten up,
see you,
or
see you play games, see you sing, see you get beaten up. Either way, you get paid.
You get paid. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And did you when you mentioned earlier about not expecting to get paid, say, for your first 10 fights, is that what pretty much happened to you? Or did it take a lot longer than that?
First 10 fights, yeah, I'd say so. Up until about my 8th fight or so, wasn't a lot in it.
Just the passion.
Yeah, just the passion, and obviously the grind of things, like just building up your followers, your own support, within your hometown and whatnot. And I mean, that's all boxers can do, really. Well, no, it's not all boxers can do, but that's what we used to think we could do. So now, obviously, with social media making you so much more accessible, there's so much more we can do.
What's an example of that?
Just like actually thinking about your PR yourself, not waiting to be signed by a promoter to push yourself out there and think about your public image and whatnot. Starting that from the very start, like the influencer age, really. Like thinking about actually my social media presence. How can I make that better? How can I present myself? How can I reach more eyes? And obviously get people wanting to actually support me. So you have to find that good balance of being yourself, being entertaining, and and doing a few things that'll make you Marmite or whatnot, catch some eyes, and get some support from people.
Yeah, because it was quite funny about one of my friends. They told me that when you build your fan base when it comes to boxing, some people are generally coming to support you for you to win, and then other people want to come to support you to go watch to see you get beaten up. Essentially,
the Mayweather effect. Like before, when he was Pretty Boy, and he was like everyone followed him because he was just putting a beating on people, and so like come forward fighter, and then he became Money Mayweather, and he talked loud and brash, and he had so many eyes on him, and people still supported him, but people probably hated him.
Yeah, at the same time.
But either way, like support or hate, they were coming to watch him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's amazing though how hate is a strong emotion enough for it to still bring attention to you at the same time. You know, so yeah, it's quite incredible. So what was one of the hardest fights that you ever went through?
Harder fights. Probably after I had won the English title. I beat a man called Andy Keats. He was a good opponent. First Southpaw I'd fought as a pro. It was the defense after that. I was defending my English title to make a statement. Me, my manager, my trainer, all thought, let's make a statement. We want people to rever my name somewhat and just like, let's do something.
To know who Ekow is.
Yeah. So we picked out a former British title holder, Tyrone Nurse, and we thought, let's defend the English title to him, because no one would want to even fight him for an English title, let alone
Why? Because he was
He
just
was just
that good.
such an awkward and just really skilled operator. And yeah, we decided I'm gonna do my first voluntary defense to Tyrone Ness, and yeah, that was
won.
easier said than done.
Yeah, well,
but obviously I won it. Yeah.
And how many rounds was that fight?
That was a 10-round fight.
Was it?
Yeah. In round 1, I got in there and I could just feel the experience oozing out of him, and he was so awkward. Then by round 2, I was just like, all right, put your head down, grit your teeth, let's go to work.
And that's where the adaptive change came into it. You know,
so many things happened in that fight, different parts of the fight that made it hard in different ways. But at each step, it's just like I said, that's what I do. I just think, okay, this has happened, so I adapt. That has happened, so I adapt. I make so many adaptations until everything's just going in my way, and then I just take the match from there.
I think it's funny about how in life, like, adapting to change is a fundamental part of life, whether it's in sport or just in general. And generally, the ones that don't change quick enough get almost left behind.
Yeah.
But the ones that do change quick enough generally seem to have a lot more success and growth in their journey.
Yeah.
And if you've got a natural ability with it, then you're laughing anyway. So you had that fight, and you obviously won. What was like the pro journey like for you? So you're standing on your own 2 feet, compared to GB, who was kind of like setting everything up for you. What was that journey like of, essentially being your own man in the pro game?
It was just different. Like, and everyone, or most people think you're a GB boxer. You might get pushed straight into a big promotion, and you just set from there. But actually, I started from grassroots. Was it having picked my own trainer, not like having a set, not being pushed into a certain training camp kind of place by GB. I effectively started as a pro boxer, just like everyone else, started from scratch. So, it was good. I mean, we started at the small hall shows. So small hall shows meaning really small venues, selling enough tickets to get you on the show, and then building yourself up from there. And my manager, Jimmy Gill, was really good at finding me good opponents, worthy opponents to get my ranking up, and whatnot. I think on my 8th fight, I fought a former Olympian from Cameroon called Serge Ambremo. Yeah, he was a unit. I remember on that fight, we both weighed in, because you weigh in seeing each other weighing in. And I was looking at him step on the scales like, he's not my weight. He looks too big. Like, there's no way he's my weight. Have they been messing with those scales? And then I got on the scales and I was slightly heavier than him.
Were you? Yeah, were you?
Yeah. And it's just funny. But the journey's been great. Obviously starting at grassroots, then boxing at different kind of small and medium-sized halls until eventually winning the English title, and then getting signed to Frank Warren. And
that was a big achievement for you.
It was. But actually, I'd signed with him on my second pro fight.
Oh, quite early.
Yeah, I signed with him after my second pro fight, and then we had one match under them, but then the matches weren't coming through. Like, I don't know if it was maybe they felt I needed to prove myself as a boxer. Like, it's one thing just signing with someone, but if you don't show that you've got the pizzazz or got what they want to see, then you probably won't get as much matches.
And what is it they want to see? Is it like being able to sell tickets, I suppose?
Well, yeah, ticket sales and just putting in the work. They want to see those exciting fights. And after my third match, I stopped the guy. I knocked him out. It was a KO victory. But the matches weren't coming as much as we'd wanted them to come. So my manager kept getting me matches outside of the promotional matches just to keep getting my ranking up. And then eventually, after winning the English title, we re-signed with Warren. And then first match was for the IBF European, got it. Second match for the British and Commonwealth, smashed it, and then it just kept going from there.
So what does it mean when you say re-sign? What does that mean?
So when I say re-sign, like I signed with them after my second match, but then because we hadn't had a match with them for so long, obviously the contract will
run out.
Will run out or null and void. So we had to re-sign with them in that respect.
Well, that's great. So not only did you show them once, you showed them twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. So you had, what was it like then going through, the challenges of all of these titles?
Oh, they all pose different challenges, I suppose. Obviously, one of the challenges was obviously not having a big promotion. You have to sell enough tickets and generate the money for good opponents. So fighting for like an English title, you have to produce so much money for, say, someone else to even want to fight you for that title. Like people, like some boxers can say, I'm not fighting for an English title for no less than a certain amount of money. And that's just it. Like, you want a good opponent, well, bring the money and
really
and sort it out, kind of thing. So it's challenges just like obviously building the fan base up, getting sponsors, and just hustling and grinding your way through it.
And would you say that was harder than actually the boxing itself?
It wasn't harder than the boxing, but it's one thing that people that outside of boxing might not think of would be a stress for a boxer, because as a boxer you just want to train and fight. You think, I don't want to do all this PR work and think about my image and spend time on social media and do things to stay in hearts and minds. Like I just want to train and beat people up. But it's so much more than that. It's a lifestyle of training, and then you're still learning outside of that. So you're learning the marketing, you're learning the business side of things, and learning everything else. So yeah.
And what about the kind of political side to boxing? So, I've kind of heard that there's I wouldn't say a corruption as such, but you got to make sure you're friends with the right people and that they like the face that fits. How did you find that throughout your journey?
It's funny. A certain boxer said to me one time about a promoter that he was with, whatever you do, just keep winning.
That's exactly what you did.
It's a business. It's a business. So everyone likes a winner. Put it that way. If you have a good following behind you, that helps politically and just in general. That means you generate a lot of money. Promoters aren't necessarily your friends. They can be your friends, but you have to think of it in business terms. They're not your friends, they're promoters. They want to make money from the boxers. So as a boxer, you have to make the money. And to make the money, you have to have a following, or you have to be the bee's knees and just do a good job. So either way, like, you just have to be the best of what you can be. So in terms of the politics of boxing, really it's kind of just a pressure to be the best boxer and product you can be, and most marketable product you can be, to then be picked up by a promoter. Like, yes, I want to sell that guy on my boxing shows. Like that, in effect, to play the political game, you have to be the best product. Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, because I suppose everyone's friends while they're all getting what they want, but as soon as the kind of goalposts change, that's probably when relationships end up getting strained.
Yeah.
So how many fights has it been like in total now then?
20.
20 fights?
Yeah.
And you obviously had a fight most recently, which unfortunately you lost.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened there.
That fight, I'd fought previously, I think about I'd fought in the January previously. Then I had a long wait in between the fight, and then my last fight was on November. It was a bittersweet match. In the match, I got hit by a lot of foul blows and whatnot that I felt the ref didn't really warn my opponent for. I got scrutinized for a forearm push or nudge at one point, and didn't quite get into my flow with it. But I mean, my takeaways from that match are that obviously sometimes the refs and judges aren't going to do you no favors. Like, to me, I was thinking they can't be scoring what this guy's doing with all these fouls mixed in, but they did, and that's fair enough. And the main takeaway was just the changes I needed to make in my style. Like, as they say, don't leave it to the judges. Don't depend on the judges. Like, I've made certain changes to where, like, every round moving forward, every round is that last round. Every round I want to see my opponents touch the canvas now. Every round is a statement round. There isn't no, oh, I'll have a round off and then I'll work on this next round and then I can win this round as a point, and that round, like, nah, it's can't be in that mindset. It's every round is the statement round.
It's quite interesting as well, because I think there's a lot to be said about learning from losses. It's not really a loss if you've learned something, as people put it. And it's what you've had, like, all of this incredible, like, wins and growth. Do you think that might have hindered you in a certain way as well? Because when you win, you almost feel unstoppable, which is also a good thing. But then, can your ego get in the way? Can you get a bit?
Yeah, but it's something I personally learnt a lot from as an amateur. You get that good streak of wins. You start thinking, oh, I've had a few stoppage wins. Maybe I'm a power puncher. Until you come across someone that your punches just don't put a dent in, and then it's just like, yeah, okay, yeah. You have to put your ego aside, and one of the main things in boxing is don't fall for your own hype. So everyone's going to hype you up. You might have yes men around you. They're going to tell you, oh, your right hand's the hardest right hand like going. Or people say to me, your engine's the best engine going, or your pressure's the best pressure there is. But to me, I think, no, it's not. Like, I will go in the gym, work on my fitness even harder than when people are telling me I've got the best fitness, because not only do people think I'm really fit, so that means when they're coming to fight me, they're going to be the fittest they can be. And same with the pressure and whatnot. So if they're up in their levels of fitness, I've got to be fitter than that. So I go away and I work on my fitness even more so, because I have to live up to the hype. So I don't fall for the hype. I just live up to it.
Yeah, I understand that, and I think it's, it must be really important not to let a lot of it get to your head along the journey. Exactly. Because that's probably when things start going a bit pear-shaped. Yeah,
you have to have a good amount of humility in boxing. You have to know you can be humbled. No, you can be beaten, and that should be part of the drive of what makes you work on yourself to make sure that you're not.
And what about the people that like, you go through this journey of being humble, but then you see the kind of the Furies, like, as an example, and the humility goes well out the window. Is that just then a showmanship?
I think I can't speak for certain people, but I think there's a big aspect of showmanship in it as well, because as much as like, say, most boxers would like to be truly themselves when it comes to people are watching and the cameras are rolling and whatnot. They are being who they need to be
for the audience.
As well. Yeah.
Almost like being an actor at the same time.
Yeah. To some degree. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, we're all boxers. We all like to fight and whatnot. So like at a press conference or whatever, sometimes you'll see people flipping tables and pushing each other and whatnot. Sometimes that could be an act. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes someone just might have ticked you off in that way, and you just think, oh, you know what? Forget this. I just want to go at this guy. Yeah.
So was there, along your whole journey, was there ever a point where you wanted to give up, where it was that tough?
Maybe at a point in my amateurs where, like whilst I was on Team GB, where maybe I had a stroke of losses and I was finding it hard to comprehend certain things that the coaches had wanted me to learn and this, that, and the other, and just had to take some time away and just relearn or reframe how I thought about boxing. And my coach, Brian Brown, helped me to do that at the time, just to relearn how I approached it, learn about actually improving my boxing brain and whatnot. And once you do that, then it changes everything. It's like boxing just became new to me again. Everything had that new excitement, like, you know, like when you do something for the first time and you're just like, oh yeah, that's cool, and that works, and it works like this. So it's like when all the pieces of the puzzle start to come together and like it starts to make sense.
Was it of that moment of like feeling like giving up? What was the driver? Did you have a family at that point?
Yeah,
you did.
Well, no, family.
Because when you spoke to me about your purpose, your why, you know, at that moment where it was quite pressure and tough, like what was the mindset to keep going at that point? Why carry on that journey?
It was more, well, when my dad, who's obviously a big figure in my life, knew I was becoming a professional boxer, or making the choice to become a professional boxer, he made me promise to him that if you do something, you're gonna do it well. So if you're gonna become a professional boxer, he wanted me to promise him I was gonna be the best professional boxer I could be, or just be the best. And so yeah, I made that promise to him. And so at times where things have been hard, just think, well, I'm not in this to be another number. I'm in this to be the best. So yeah, the best go through hard times. It's just part and parcel of the grind. And in the amateurs at that time, when I was going through a hard time, my driver was, I didn't get in this just to give up when things got hard. Like if I want to be good at this, I've got to get through these times. So I have to find a way and adapt.
And it sounds like while you made a promise to him, you made a promise to yourself at the same time. Yeah. You know, and you know, I think that's through any walks of life. When you say you're going to do something, it's important to have conviction, regardless of how long it might take you to get there. Because you've had quite a positive outcome in your boxing career of win, and naturally you've put a lot of graft into it, and that's created a lot of success. So you know, but I think losses is also a fundamental part of that growth and that journey as well. So, you know, it's important to, or they don't really call it losses as long as you're learning, I suppose. That's the kind of way to look at it. So what's you did you find that a bit of a kick in the teeth, that loss, compared to you've had this great run of 19 fights?
Yeah.
And was that a bit of a tough thing to take in?
Loss is never a nice thing to take in. It was a bitter pill to swallow, yeah. But I mean, it comes in the territory. It's just part and parcel of boxing. Not that you can't win everyone, but sometimes you won't win everyone, and it's just another speed bump in the road. And to be honest, if you go through life and everything is easy, then it's not really worth it all. So it's just another challenge thrown in my way, and I do what I do, adapt, and come back even hella more stronger for it. And I've learned I'm one person that I don't like to learn the same mistake. So something I learn once and that's it.
Don't like to get burnt by fire more than once.
Yeah, there's no point.
Nah, so it's very true that it goes back to that adaptive changing of yours, doesn't it? Really, like you might have to take one step back to take 2 steps forward. So what kind of like is your plan for like moving forward? I saw you commentating the other day. I don't suppose that's the new career change, is it?
No, that's a side mission.
Side hustle.
Yeah, side quest and hustle. Plan moving forward. We're in negotiations with Frank Warren to get me out as soon as possible. Frank, get me out as soon as possible. And I'm still ranked number 10 in the IBF. So I'm top 10 in the world in the IBF. And looking to get back to that top 3 selected spot so I can get my world title in. So the vision hasn't changed, just taking a little change of lane to get there. But as far as I'm concerned, that's all it is. I've made the changes I need to make, so I'm going to be in a lot of exciting matches because of the changes I've made and the processes I'm going through, just to make sure that my next few matches are going to be hella exciting.
So, and you got your eye on the prize, essentially.
Yeah.
It sounds really exciting, and it's like, and by the way, when I was speaking about your losses, I think it's really important for a lot of people to take. Not, I don't want to trying to make a big deal about your own, but it's really important for people when they're going on a journey. It's generally like this, because on the outside it can just be wins. Everything's all nice and shiny, but there's a lot of hardship to go through.
Yeah.
But I think that's where the real growth happens at the same time. So, I thought I just wanted to kind of tap into that, because it's not only important that you understand that yourself, but I like to see it as well, because I go through journeys of loss and challenges myself, and it's having that right mindset along the journey that you need to keep climbing that mountain.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. So no, I mean, look, I'm very excited for you as well. It sounds like
just to add to what you said about the losses, like it's just like that saying that people might have heard, like it took 10 years to become an overnight success. Like, it's not about, people just see the moment of success, the overnight celebrity, kind of like, oh yeah, he's the best now and whatnot. But boy, sometimes it's a long path to get there, full of trials and tribulations, and just like those little infographics show you the path to success, you can be up, then you can bottom it out, go even lower than where you started, then back to the middle, then back down, then back up again. It's not a straight path, and just like a lot of entrepreneurs will tell you, sometimes you gotta fail forward. Like, or some people say it's not about how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up.
Get up again,
like, get up again, because as you said, you learn through your losses. So if you've taken a lot of losses, it means you've learned a lot. So really, you should be very capable in whatever you're doing.
The thing that's just Stephen talking to you, and even a little bit about the thing that even that you mentioned earlier, the thing I like the most is the humility. Like you go on this successful journey in this career that you're on, but you just stay grounded. And like that's a good attitude. People warm to that. They take well to somebody that's doing well in life, but they're not like, look at me, look how amazing I am. Like, they haven't got this massive ego. They're chill with it. They appreciate there's always another mountain to climb. I even heard a saying before about I think it might have been Caesar, about he had a servant, and the servant would say, you're just a man. You're just a man, to keep him grounded.
Yeah.
And I saw it on another podcast with someone that I really like. And, it's really important, that entrepreneurship journey, or that boxing journey, that you do stay grounded, that you try and do the right thing along the journey, and challenge yourself and analyze yourself. And I think the bit I love about boxing is there's a lot of, you get humbled a lot. There's a lot of like, for anyone that might have too much of a big ego.
Yeah, I was literally gonna say, like, for me, because I've been boxing sort of on the amateurs, GB squad before I was a pro. I've have that period where you start to get a little bit of an ego about this or that or the other. But as I said, there's always another boxer or someone out there that will come around and just humble you. So then it makes you. It's just the universes or the way of just letting you know, like, humble yourself, keep your feet grounded, show humility, and you'll just get better at things. Yeah,
because it's clearly, obviously, you've adopted that nature, and it's clearly been quite positive in your world. And I can imagine, when you're working with the likes of Frank Warren, they actually warmth to you that you're someone that's like a good guy in the industry. But I suppose that's one portion of
one portion of it's a good thing to have, but then you have to be like, what they say, nice guy finishes last. So you have to be a shark when you have to be a shark. You have to be you have to let everyone know you've got that dog in you as well. So and us boxers, as nice as we may be, we've all obviously got the Jekyll and Hyde thing, because put us in a ring, we're not nice. So,
bipolar.
yeah.
And how have you found having a boxing career, devoting yourself to boxing, and having a family at the same time, like that? How have you found, spending the time, putting it in the right places, prioritizing the right things? Because I'm an entrepreneur. I run my own business, so I like to tap into people's mindsets of understanding their lifestyle and the sacrifices they have to make. What's it been like for you?
It's hard, I'll say. Like, my wife owns a chain of reformer Pilates studios that she built from scratch pre-COVID and lockdown. So I think just before lockdown, it was her first year operating, or first 6 months operating, and then boom, lockdown, everything
shut down.
Everything shut down, the business on pause, still having to pay rent and all that. But she just bounced back, and now she's got like 7 studios throughout the Midlands, and the company's growing. And
she's more busy than you are.
Yeah. Like, she's keeping me on my toes. It's like, I'm good in the physical aspect of like boxing, but then her entrepreneurial skills are like up there as well. So I'm like, I want to be like you in this respect. But it can be tricky at times, the work-life balance. Knowing how to balance it, or when to balance it, and how to be a good partner, how to be a good dad, how to be a good devoted boxer in my craft. It's all hard. You have to play the right balance, and there's a lot of sacrifices in it. I know there's some nights my wife's probably been cursing me or some morning.
Especially with the kids.
Yeah. Being left in the lurch and whatnot. But boxing's a short career. After boxing, I'll just have to make up for all those times.
She's got it all in her book.
She's got it all invoiced and tallied up.
So you said boxing's a short time. What's the how do you see yourself left with this?
It's really down to how long I want to keep getting in the ring and beating people up. Not really. It's just down to how well I take care of myself, really. And then how long I want to box for. I've got my fingers in a few pots, but I'm very much in love with boxing, and that is the main driving force in what I do. Yeah.
Well, is there anything that you wanted to add before we finish up today, Ekow?
Just wanted to add that people just start following me. Follow me more. Start having a look at the things that I'll be putting out there, because I'm a certified life coach now. I've gone through a life coaching course. I have a business in doing boxing interventions in secondary schools and colleges, along with my business partner, Mike Elland. It's called KO Interventions. Give that a follow. And as well as that, I'll be putting out snippets of great concepts for mindset work for high-level athletes and people in the professional workplaces who come under high levels of stress as well. Because, I mean, athletes and entrepreneurs and businessmen all go through similar stresses. And you can take aspects that you learn from athleticism and apply them to business. You can take aspects from business and apply them to athleticism. So follow me and start finding out a few of them.
Do you know what? I was kind of nearly wrapping up then, but you've just I've just want to talk to you about something. So the life coach, just talk to me about that. What kind of made you want to get into that?
I went to university and I did a course in marketing, design and comms. And during that course, there was a psychology, like a few bits on psychology that we learned. And I found it so interesting. So since then, I've just always read a lot on psychology and whatnot. And I got more interested in kind of aspects of psychology to help improve yourself. Because obviously I'm a boxer. I want to improve every aspect of what I do in boxing. So mental, like they'll tell you 80% mental, 20% physical.
Wow.
So I looked into a lot of sports psychology stuff, and I have a sports psychologist as well, and that was his name's Lee Johnson, sports psychologist for boxers. Tap him up. He will take you to the next level, and it was through kind of having sessions with him that I thought, like, this is something I want to learn more about, because it's like you can talk to a sports psychologist about just the most randomest of things, and what they shoot back at you, just like, oh, I didn't realize that about myself. Oh, that's interesting, but it's true. And then, so it made me think, I want to learn more about that.
It's probably like, it's like looking in a mirror when they're giving you that feedback, and it's like they're telling you things about yourself that you can't even see, but they're pointing them at.
So I obviously went on a course and learned a lot. And also in boxing or in war, knowing the psychology of people helps a lot. Like I've had matches where my psychologist has had a deep dive in studying my opponent, so I'll know what to say to get under their skin, or what not to say, because I mean, certain people, you get under their skin and they'll box better.
Oh, right. So the idea in that would to keep them almost like calm and
you have to chip away at different aspects.
Kill them with kindness and stuff like that.
Some people you kill with kindness.
Really?
Some people you chip away at mentally. Some people, it's all different.
All mind games.
Yeah, all mind games. But like you learn that when you do courses like what I've been on, and or when you learn about how to build people up, you also learn what would cause people not to be built up. So it's the complete opposite.
And life coaching, I suppose, is going to be for the future of you wanting to give back as well. Yeah,
because I use a lot of aspects of my life coaching course in KO interventions. So when I said about doing interventions in secondary schools and colleges, me and my business partner Mike, we do, basically what we do is we can go to a secondary school and say, give us we're behavioral mentors, or behavioral interventions. And since lockdown, kind of that's been a big issue in a lot of schools and academies. So we can go to a school, academy or college and say, just give us your 20 worst peoples for behavior. Give us 8 weeks of them, half a day in a week for 8 weeks, and we'll turn them around. And we had a case study done on some of our interventions, and we had then 80% turnaround rate. So
That's incredible.
So yeah, 80% of those students turned around. Like, yeah, it's good stuff, and it's rewarding as well. Just seeing the teenagers, kids, young adults that walk through the door that are labeled troublesome. It's funny that they're labeled that way, because when I work with them, I don't see them that way. They're just like fun to be around.
Yeah.
And then when they walk out the door after the intervention, the teachers will say, "Oh, they've changed so much and this and that." But all I've really done is just given them the recipe of changing how they view life in certain degrees, changing the direction, getting in the right lane, and just moving on from there.
But it's amazing how it might be like this for every sport, but it's a good funneling system, boxing. Like you can take out a lot of stress, you can take out a lot, and then you get the humbled part anyway, because we all probably need to be grounded once in a while.
Yeah.
So, moving your body, funneling your energy in the right place, rather than, being this what's considered a naughty child.
Yeah.
It all must be quite beneficial to them and amazing for you to see at the same time.
Yeah.
But it sounds exciting. It sounds all exciting for you.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, future's bright, and I've come to the conclusion that whatever I put my energy in, it's just gonna work. So world titles coming, and we're gonna keep building KO interventions as well, and keep a lookout for my co-manager James Wells. He'll have some big things coming too, because that's what we do.
Well, I'll put your I'll take your socials as well, so people can find you on here anyway. Thank you so much for coming all the way down from Nottingham today as well. Man. I really appreciate it.
I'm a man of my word.
Yeah.
Your word is your bond. So you say something, you do it.
Yeah, and do you know what? I've really appreciated you sharing your story and having a few tips and tricks to take away as well. So thank you, Ekow.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers.